well. Alright, so here was our roll. We just pretty much obliterated that spider. 4 hits, and that completely blows him out. Now, what you do once you've completed, excuse my Warhammer 40k stuff over here. Maybe in a future video I'll talk about that stuff, but that's another video. So anyway, we've got these experience points, and we're going to put them on our card here. And once we get 10 of them, this is another house rule. Once we get 10 of these experience points, we're going to be able to get a glory point. And glory points is what you need for levels. So I think you need 3 or 4 glory points per level in order to level up to the next level. So you can also use these experience points for other abilities in combat. I forget what they are, but they're in the rulebook. You can use them. Now that's the default purpose of these, is for combat, but I think having an experience point system is much better than the default rules that says that as soon as you finish an adventure you get a glory point automatically. And I just think that's wrong, because you could have players going in and doing one room and coming out and getting a glory point. That's totally unbalanced. Now, the beauty of this experience point system, I think, is that, again, it goes back to the monster system, where the monsters are going to be scaling up according to the characters in the game. And as you can see, as I explained before, as our levels increase with our characters, so do our levels of our monsters. So you may be asking, well, how do you get 1 experience point for killing a spider swarm and 1 experience point for killing, say, a Balrog or a fire dragon or a red dragon or something like that? Well, again, you only need 10 experience points per level. So on level 1, you're killing 10 rats. On level 8, you're killing 10 trolls, but you're a lot stronger. So in essence, you've got a scaling experience point system built into the system from scratch. And that's the brilliance of it. No need to add more experience points per level, and none of that nonsense that most RPGs do. You simply have an effective system right built in with experience points that are there. Alright, so we went ahead and killed that spider and got the experience for it. So that's the end of my turn again. And now we're going to see the Invisible Overlord. He gets the interrupt. Not this time, no. We go back to the Wizard, and she's got a bunch of spells we can use. Now, I think the spells in this game are really great too. You get a ton, and what I've done here as well is I've taken the spell list, and at the start of when you create a character, you get a free minor petty magic, which is Crystallize. And if I can show you guys that spell. Well, essentially what that does is it allows you to create energy crystals randomly, which are used to power up your spells. But also you get an additional 3 petty magic spells, essentially randomly chosen. There's some choice in it, but you get 3 of those petty magic spells, and then you get to pick 1 extra school of magic. And in this case, I picked sorcery. And so every level you can pick between getting more spells for your character, or you can choose an ability, or you can choose a class ability, or you can choose a race ability. So the cool thing with this leveling system is that you have like 3 or 4 different choices on leveling up your character and per level, and making them unique. So not all wizards are going to be the same in this game, not even close. Not all fighters are going to be the same. So the other rule I've added is that I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense that you have to use one of your levels to buy petty magic spells. I think petty magic is essentially like cantrips, in D&D, and a wizard should just know them. So what I've done is every level you get a free random petty magic spell, a cantrip, quote unquote, added to your spell list. So since she's on level 2, I got my random petty magic spell and a new ability, which is stealth. And then she also bought a dagger, which gives her a single reroll and attack. Now, since this guy is so simple, I think I'm going to have her run up and attack. She gets a free reroll. Let me double check these guys. This guy's stats. Make sure that he's easy enough for a wizard to take down. Let's see. So we have, let's see, Skeletal Hound has 3. Well, he's pretty tough. He's got 3 dice. And yeah, you know what? I'm not going to attack. I forget that these guys get skeletal. A skeletal means that you don't knock down a skeleton on 1 wound. You have to get them essentially 3 wounds in order to kill them. And with her attack ability, there's no way that she's going to be able to do that unless she's really lucky. So, you know what? I think what I'll do instead is, since we are right here in the beginning, there's no other monsters, I'm going to go ahead and use a major sorcery spell. And you can only use one of these 1 per round, so you got to use them sparingly. This is my most powerful spell that she has. All enemy models in range and sight suffer a 4 dice magical attack. She's going to go ahead and do that. And we flip that upside down to indicate that it takes quite a while to get that. So she's not going to even be able to have this spell next round. It's going to be gone. So every round you flip it 90 degrees. So she'll go ahead and cast that on this thing. That's 4 against 3. And it's going to ignore 1. She didn't roll any 1s. So that was blocked, that was blocked, that was blocked, and then she's unsuccessful. So she used all that spell for nothing. Alright, so she was unsuccessful. That was a bad choice. I screwed up. I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to move forward and get on to the next step to show you guys what happens next after I kill this skeleton. Okay, so at the end of the round, what we're going to do is we're going to draw 2 Overlord cards. And we're going to resolve them one after the other. So for the first card, now we ignore interrupt. This doesn't matter. However, we also ignore number on the first one. So in my games, basically what you do is you're going to designate for each scenario the number of models that act during the Overlord turn. And as a rule of thumb, I've decided to go with 4. So a maximum of 4 models move per Overlord round. And then on the second card, we're going to actually look at the number. As you're going to see in a second here, there is no Overlord card on there. Or no number on there anyway. So this is going to go after Unarmored and Quest. Now, Quest would indicate somebody that's either has a special item for the quest or is near the quest objective. In this case, neither of us have that, so he's going to take precedent over the Unarmored, which is the Wizard. However, he's in my arc and he cannot move forward. He cannot attack the Wizard. So he's going to simply attack me again because that's all he can do. He's stuck in my arc. He can't get out. So he's going to roll 3, and my warrior rolls 4. And looks like got a hit there. And I've got 3 armor, so that's not going to count. But he did get a hit off on there, so he is going to cause 1 damage to me. So I'm going to grab one of these and give myself a damage. All right. Now, that round's done. That's the only monster we have. So for step 2, we're going to look at the second card, and this is simply a spawn. And we're going to raise 2 skeleton warriors from piles of bones. There are no piles of bones, so that card has no effect. That's the end of the Overlord round. That was a pretty simple one. Alright, so our warrior was able to kill off the skeleton pretty easily that next combat round. And so in Dungeon Saga, you have to move then attack. So we couldn't move, so we did our attack. His turn was completed. There was no interrupt, and then our wizard moved up to explore the door. And now she actually stepped on the trap space, and we flipped it over, and there was nothing there. So there was actually no trap there, so she's safe. Now, as soon as she got next to the door, we were able to discover that this door is protected by a level 2 ward. Now, we have one of two options here. Since she's done moving, well, actually, she could continue to move if she wanted to. So we have three options. We can continue to move, and she's already moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of her 7 movement. If we don't choose to move, instead, we could choose to try to break the ward. And so this round, we refreshed this card, and we flipped this one sideways, so that one's still unavailable. But we do have the break ward spell. But that spell is only for breaking a level 1. And we do have another spell that's more powerful called, this is one of our random petty magics, Dissolve Ward, which will break a level 3 ward, which we could use. However, you can only use a major petty magic or major spell, 1 per turn. So we cannot use that and then use another spell. Option 3 is we have this interesting spell called Blink, which allows the wizard to basically disappear and reappear somewhere else on the same tile. Now, to rescue the hero or rescue the bartender, we need to move one of our characters adjacent to him. As soon as we do that, the quest is complete. So we can move her to do that and complete the quest, or we could open the door. And in this case, since this is a level 2 ward and she has the spell to do that, I'm going to go ahead and cast the Dissolve Ward spell and open the door. So we can complete this room. So that's going to open the door for us. And now again, we are exploring a new section of the dungeon, and we're going to decide if there is a room here or another corridor. So on a 1 to 3 is a corridor, and a 4 to 6 is a room. And it looks like we've got another room. So we're going to open the corridor, and we're going to lay out our tiles for this room. And we're going to find out if this is our boss room or not. So I'll go ahead and set that up and be right back. Okay, so we have opened up the door and spawned the room. And inside of this room, we have ended up having a large doorway on the very end here. And here in the back, we've got a elite skeleton archer, elite skeleton warrior, a mummy, and here we had a pile of bones, but we drew a interrupt card that spawned a skeleton warrior here. And we've also got some traps in the room as well. So it's the final turn here, final turn on the round for the wizard, and our other warriors go ahead and up here to get the quest completed. But she's going to go ahead and cast the spell called Tortured Steps, and what that allows us to do is I pick a target, and the next time that target moves, for each space they move, they get a attack roll after they're finished moving against them. And this is an awesome spell, and it's long range, and it doesn't require line of sight. So that's a really great spell. And before I do that, though, I'm going to move her back because this is a long range spell, and she has a special ability called Energy, which lets her double all of her ranges. So essentially, a short range will become a long range, and adjacent will become a short range, and a long range will become double long range. So she can be way out of range of these monsters, because I'm really worried about this skeleton archer back here in the back of coming after her. So I'm going to move her back. She can move up to 7 spaces. I'm just going to move her back, and in fact, I'm going to move her out of line of sight because she does not need line of sight for this spell. I'll move her right there. And she'll go ahead and cast Tortured Steps on the mummy. So I'll just leave this up here for now to remember that he's got that spell cast on him. And that's a minor sorcery spell. So she can cast one more spell, and she's going to cast Protection on herself, which is also a minor spell, and on her next defense roll, she'll get a +1 dice roll. So we'll go ahead and put this marker next to her to remember that she has that cast on herself for protection. And that's going to end the round. So I'll go ahead and pause it here and go ahead and take care of this round for the enemies, and we'll come back again. Alright, so we were able to complete that round. The mummy that moved up just got completely annihilated by tortured steps. The mummies have really powerful defense, but I was able to get some really good rolls on it and just blew him away. He had 2 wounds, so he's gone, and she was able to get the experience point for that, for killing the mummy. So next turn we did not have an interrupt, so we moved the warrior up here. He abandoned looking for this guy because he was too slow, so he moved up here to engage in attack. Then I had the wizard move back, complete the quest, and then cast the spell protection on him with the marker using a energy power crystal. So he actually has a +2 defense die roll when he gets attacks next time. And I also cast crystallize again, getting back another energy crystal. So that's the end of her turn. I'm going to do another interrupt here, possibly. Yes, there is. And there's just going to be one, going for marksman or wounded. We don't have either one, so instead they're going to go for the nearest model, which is my warrior. And it's going to be only one, and it's a gang up order, which is going to try to use, their movement is going to try to save room for other models to move in next to the enemy. So in this case, we can move the warrior or the archer, and the archer's already within combat range, so he's not going to move up. Instead, we're going to simply move up our skeleton and attack. And the standard skeleton warrior gets 2 dice against my 4. Remember, I get to roll 2 extra dice for this. Let's see if I can... Alright. Oh, he gets some good hits on me, but I blocked him. Block. And he did no damage. So that's the end of that round. We're going to start the second half of this round, where the warrior's going to go first. He's going to go ahead and attack the skeleton right in front of me. That's all he can really do. He's stuck in his arc. So the skeleton warrior has an armor of 2, so we discount anything less than 3 or less, or 2 or less. And we were able to score 1 hit, 2 hits, and 3 hits. And that's good enough to kill the model. 3 hits. So he'll take care of him, get another experience point. And then we'll move on to the wizard. For her turn, I think I'll have her move up to the fight a little bit closer. I don't want to get her within shooting range. She's too squishy to get hit. So let's see, his protection spell's gone now. So she's going to go ahead and, in fact, I may just move her up a little bit further, actually. No, maybe not. I was tempted to use my Death Surge spell, but I really want to save that to fight more than one enemy. I'd only be able to hit one enemy this if I used it, and that'd be kind of a waste. So instead, I'll go ahead and use Tortured Steps. Well, did I already use this turn? I cannot use this again because I already used it. So in that case, we're pretty limited. I think I'll cast Confusion. Now we do not leave line of sight, and it's range short. However, with my energy skill, I can double that range. So that's a long range without line of sight. And that's going to make it so the enemy can either move or do an action, but not both. So we'll go ahead and cast it on the skeleton here in the back. So he cannot attack anybody. So we'll put the marker on him, indicating that he's confused and he cannot move or attack, either one. And that will be my turn because that's a major spell. And that does it for the round. So, folks, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I think I've shown you guys enough on how I run these dungeons, explorations. I'm going to wrap up this combat. I'm going to go ahead and explore one of these doors, and I'm going to get to the end boss. And I'm going to finish up the dungeon, show you maybe the end battle, and then I want to show you a little bit on the shopping phase at the very end. I wrap this up.